But the police was there and I was arrested by them. Army was there, like with guns and everything. They didn't allow the access to foreigners, a manly monastery. Like,
sure.
No women over there. I think we were the first foreign women to come there. People are really willing to help, especially I think when they see a foreign girl alone.
You had a monk as the arbiter for your argument with a taxi driver.
Exactly. They give you all they have. It's not for money. We stayed for an hour and it was amazing.
Hello and welcome to Journey to the West, the show that invites intrepid globetrotters to share their tales of adventure traveling around Western China. Here we are today at the Padma Chuming Club in Beijing, a Tibetan urban respite that offers Tibetan meals, Tibetan health treatments. Our guest, Alexia Pestre, is waiting for us. She has traveled all around Shanghai and has a few adventures to share. Let's go meet her. And Alexia Pestre is going to be sharing her stories of travel in the region. Alexia hails from France and is especially discerning when it comes to food. So we're looking forward to her critiques of the snacks that we'll be enjoying here at the Padma Chuming Tibetan Club in Beijing.
Thank you.
Welcome, Alexia.
Thanks.
So this trip that you took was unexpected. That's pretty much my favorite way to travel.
Yeah.
Did
Me
you
too.
like book the ticket and fly off? How did it work?
Well, kind of. I had the idea to go to Qinghai after a friend of mine worked on a project for cloth distribution and community projects over there to help Tibetan people. So she told me about her stories over there, and so it came to my mind, and I was like, okay, I have to go one day. And then I decided to go last year for during the October holidays, but it was a last-minute flight booking. So I went there and I arrived in Xining, which is the capital city of Qinghai province. And I was supposed to meet Tibetan friends and to go to their hometown and visit the villages around and see what we could do, like for example, solar projects.
Sure.
So I went there, I tried to go, but the police was there and I was arrested by them.
So you were arrested?
Yeah, I was.
This is something that hasn't happened to me in China yet. How does that go?
Well, in fact, but this happened to me before, like during the Olympics.
Okay.
Because I was sent on a project in, I guess it was in Sichuan.
A work project?
Yeah, but in the Tibetan area, which is close to a famous monastery, which is called, in Gansu, which is called Xiahe.
Okay.
We met so many checkpoints on the road, and we had to tell them that we were working for the United Nations.
Okay.
So then they could let us go, but each time it took us like an hour to go from checkpoints to checkpoints. And the army was there, like with guns and everything. And at that time in Qinghai, because of the 60th anniversary of the Chinese Republic, they didn't allow the access to foreigners. I don't know why this typical area is like Tongren in Qinghai, famous for the Tenka Tibetan traditional paintings.
The paintings.
And monastery, but they have monasteries all over Qinghai, so I don't really know.
So why this particular area?
So I was supposed to meet this friend of mine, a Tibetan girl, and she was waiting for me, and the family cooked for me, and the police stopped the bus on the road, and they asked the foreigners to get off the bus. So I was like, okay, once again. But there were two other foreigners with me. And the Chinese police told them, well, it's because of the swine flu. And I was like, come on, you can't believe them, because why?
I was just on a bus. If I had swine flu, I would have been incubated. Yeah.
And why all the Chinese are going and we are not allowed to go? And so they were like for an hour looking at my passport and like trying to call people. And
trying to call people?
Yeah, and of course I couldn't say that I was going to visit a friend, because this girl would have had a lot of problems
Lots of
after that,
questions after
exactly
that.
hosting a foreigner. So, so I was like, oh, okay, it's. They plan. I mean, like my friends planned my trip for me, so I had to go to this place and see this and that, and so I was like, okay, what I'm gonna do? And they were like, okay, we send you back to the.
Just like that.
Just like that, and they pay half of the ticket, but I was like, come on.
No.
And so we had to wait for another hour or 2 hours for a bus to took us to back to the points to Xining, to the capital city. And then,
there it was
then back there I was like I spent a half day like doing nothing, going back to the same places. These kind of things can happen in China. You never really know why.
I think when a door slams in your face in China, you just need to jump out the window. You need to say, okay, well, they said no. Plan B, what happens? There's always something else, sort of adventurous lurking around the corner.
And
you just, I think, need to stay calm, not lose your temper. If you were to make, how did you respond to the officers who sent you back? I mean, I can imagine you weren't happy.
I was trying to tell them, well, it's really important to have, but sometimes you don't know if you have to say that you're working or if you're like just visiting, or so. It's always you question yourself about that because you don't want to put yourself in like troubles. So I don't really remember what I told them, but I was used to it, so I was like, okay.
You just accepted it and sort of,
nothing to do. I mean, like if they say no, then there's no way, even giving money, sometimes they will feel like offended.
Yeah. Start with a cigarette.
Yeah, well, I didn't have anything. And I decided to take a night bus to go to the south.
Gotta love the night buses.
Which is so close to Tibet. So the city is called Yushu, and it's a Tibetan area. Like I think it's 95% of Tibetan people living there.
Yes, you bring up a great point. I mean, what so many people don't realize is that there are areas around Tibet, just outside of the Tibetan autonomous region, that are actually more ethnically Tibetan than Tibet itself.
And of course, well, the Han people are there to look after this, but the population is really Tibetan, and it's really, I think, even more typical than Tibet today.
Than Tibet itself.
And foreigners don't really know about those places because, of course, if you don't speak the basic Chinese, it's pretty difficult to get there.
Around. Sure.
Yeah. So that's it. And then I was there, so I didn't really think about taking a sleeping bus or a seat. So of course I had the seats bus for something like 17 hours, which is not that...
You didn't get a bed, you were in a hard sleeper?
No, I was sitting with all the men smoking around me, but this is when you travel in China, it's traveling in China,
yeah.
So after like 20 hours, I arrived in this city like early morning, and a Tibetan family took care of me in the bus, and so they took me to a nice hotel, and they shared the numbers, and they wanted me to call them back to show me around. But the problem was that I had no guidebook, so I had no idea where to go. So I finally found a youth hostel, and I was waiting there, like maybe waiting for someone to show up, a foreigner, or I met a girl over there, an American girl, and we decided to travel together because we were the only foreigners, of course, and she had a guidebook, so she saved me.
Right.
And so we decided to first look around because there's some famous monastery over there. I think one is one of the biggest in the Tibetan area, like among Sichuan, Qinghai, and Gansu. And that's it. So it was pretty fun and also unexpected to meet a foreigner over there.
To meet a foreigner and go.
Exactly.
And once you met her, did you stay where you were? You kept traveling?
And yeah, we stay in the same city because it was like the how do you say, the starting points to go to any places.
Sure.
So I decided to change my hotel, which was really crappy hotel, and well, and so I moved with her, and so we had like lunch and dinner to discuss
the game plan.
exactly for the next, because I had just 1 week over there, so it was really short, so I had to yeah, make the best out of it. So and we really wanted to see something different. So we decided to ask a driver, Tibetan driver, and so we rented the car and the driver, and we decided to head like even more south. We didn't know where.
So you rented the car, rented the driver, and head off?
Exactly, and
South?
so we were on the road, which was a beautiful road. I mean, like really high mountains and also grasslands and yak and Tibetan flags everywhere.
Which are
So it
colorful
was-
in themselves.
Exactly. But I was starting to rain, and the driver wasn't pretty sure, because we said, okay, we're gonna rent you for 2 days.
Oh, okay, you can do that.
And you can do that, of course. You have to pay a
Sure,
certain amount
you
of
negotiate
money,
that.
of course. And yeah, so we wanted to go to a city called Nanchang, which is the last city before Tibet.
Okay, right up.
But the driver didn't really know about the road, and I think he never like really pushed that far. But anyway, we really wanted to go because it was a chance. And so we travel like through really high mountains, and 5,000 meters passes, and so at that time it started to be a bit difficult, like to adapt. But even though we were in the car, but we felt like really tired, and but really exciting to see what was gonna happen next. And but we had to stop at night in this city called Nanchang, because it was night and it was impossible to go
To drive
further.
Sure.
So the next day we woke up, and we decided to go on, but then the road was like was no more road. I mean, it was really, we entered this Tibetan area, and
So it just wasn't, there was no road.
no road, like a mountain. I mean, like bumpy road, and the driver was pretty scared and really not confident.
You were
like,
pushing him.
exactly, and we even drive ourselves, because the driver, yeah.
You drove
And
yourself?
exactly. This American girl, she was like, "Oh, I want to drive," and the driver was like, "Okay."
He
if
must
you
have
want.
been tired.
He wanted to smoke, so it was a good break for him. And so we went through the mountain villages as well, like the really few villages we met on the road. And we stopped at one of the pass, like at 5,000 meters, and we met those two guys on the motorbike, and one of them wanted to join us because his like knees were hurting because it was really cold at that time.
Oh, so from the wind.
And so he came with us, and he took us to a monastery, like a really remote place, like in the middle of nowhere, and so we were like, okay, we're gonna try, maybe see. So we went there with the car. It was pretty, the road was really...
The drive, what was the drive? I mean, what was the communication like in the car?
It was, well, this, I can speak a little bit of Chinese, but, and this girl was like fluent in Chinese, but the driver was a Tibetan.
Right, so how...
And he couldn't really communicate in Mandarin, so it was pretty
And I could
difficult.
just imagine thinking, who are these crazy
So, like-
girls, you know?
Like Italian, we had to speak with
Gestures?
our hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so we arrived in this like monastery, and we met this Chinese Tibetan monk who was speaking fluent English.
Oh,
So
that must have
thanks
felt
God.
good, right?
Yeah. And it turns to be, in fact, a Tibetan school for small monks. And so the monk took us around and explained the situation, like religious, political as well, and what was he was doing with these kids, like teaching Tibetan culture.
They were Tibetan children?
Yeah, Tibetan children. But also at the time we had a fight with the driver.
Oh.
Because the driver was kind of tired and a little bit fed up, and I think also scared about the road conditions and everything.
Sure.
So he asked more money, and for us it was like, you know, when you set up a price
we
in
agreed
China,
on something,
then you don't want to change it because
sure.
it's the game, I mean.
Sort of a contract.
And it was kind of in a religious area as well, so it was a bit
inappropriate or...
Exactly, to have this kind of talk over there. But the monk was really the middleman between... You see?
You had a monk as the arbiter for your argument with a taxi driver.
Exactly, so it was a bit embarrassing because it was not the point, I mean, of the thing. So we agreed with the girl, and we tell the driver that, okay, you can go back, and we don't mind, we will find our way back, and
by yak or whatever,
anything, hitchhiking. Exactly. And I think he got mad and still scared, like, to go back by himself.
Sure.
So he decided to stay, and we both agree.
You usually, show them that you're sort of tough. And,
exactly,
and back down.
But at the end, no, it was okay.
You don't want to abuse, but at the same time, you don't, want to be taken advantage of either.
Exactly. So so we went. So we decided to stay at night. I mean, the monk offered us to stay with them, but we were the only girls.
Oh, and so how did that work? In a monastery full of young Tibetan boys?
No, well, it's the monk offered his room, and it was so cold at that time. I didn't expect it such a low temperature, and I think it was maybe at night -10 in October, something like this. And but we stay overnight, and they offered, like, you know how those people can be, like, I mean, they can offer, they don't have anything.
Endless hospitality.
They share so much, and we had tsampa.
You had tsampa?
Yeah.
Okay.
We also have, we had instant noodles as well.
Really?
Yeah, because he wanted to show that, he is a monk, so he's a little bit a higher class.
Okay.
So giving instant noodles is like showing that you have power and, in a way, money,
a small luxury? A big luxury, maybe, in that case.
Because the small monks, they only eat tsampa. And so it was pretty funny to see also this cultural side of a manly monastery. I mean, like, no women over there, and I think we were the first foreign women to come there. So
you had tsampa at the monastery?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this the only ingredient they have over there.
This is their main staple food.
Exactly. Well, they have a lot of yaks as well. So that every morning, like, Tibetan families, they take care of the cattle.
The herdsmen.
Yeah, exactly. And they provide milk and yogurt to the monks.
Oh, to the monastery is sort of
exactly. Okay. So we had to do the tsampa in front of the monks. And but we had the tsampa with yogurt and yak milk tea. So it was pretty dense for the stomach.
It was a hearty meal.
Exactly, but appropriate one for the weather conditions and yeah. So that's it.
Well, we're not quite in a monastery, but I believe we're going to have some tsampa here today.
Great!
Would you like to relive those moments with the monks, maybe here?
Yeah, of course.
With me, you can teach me how. It seems like
with the finger.
With this, yeah.
If I remember well,
Okay.
下面呢，我就教你们怎么做糌粑。
Okay.
那首先呢是青稞面。
Okay, so now we're going to be using Qingke flour.
Yeah. 青稞呢是藏族的主食，在藏区每天呢每家每户啊，老人或者小孩每天早上都会吃青稞。
Okay.
喝酥油茶。
So this is something that is eaten by Tibetans every day, young and old.
Yeah. 就像你们每天吃面包、喝牛奶是一样的。
Just like we eat bread and milk for breakfast, this is their typical breakfast.
Yeah. 那制作糌粑过程当中还有其他的几种原料哈，有咱们青稞粉，还有这个酥油。
Butter.
Yeah. Yak butter. Yeah. 还有白糖。
White sugar.
Yeah. 还有这个奶茶。
Tea. Milk tea.
Milk tea. Yeah.
那首先需要倒点奶茶。
Okay.
Yeah. 倒一点点就可以了。
So a little bit of milk tea.
啊
That's hot. Now we add some sugar.
，Yeah。
Okay.
放一点
Now some yak butter. Proofs that I know how to use chopsticks right here. Oh wow, that has a strong scent. Yeah. 这个味道很特别。
这个就是青稞糌粑粉，然后放
This is the chinka flour
Yeah.
that we're adding.
转一下，
啊
转完了以后再往前走，这
，trying
样
to get.
往前。这个碗呢要在手里面转，
对有一点，然后你你加
这样。
明白。
然后你取一点点，
注意点。
这样捏一下，这是传统的做法。你看，这上面有你的指纹，你就可以吃。
对
最好是旁边还有一壶奶茶，然后你喝着奶茶，吃着糌粑粉。
Okay. So once you finished it, you have it with some milk tea.
对，它有很多的粗纤维和这个我们平时吃到的维生素，对身体是非常有帮助的，而且它是在生长在青藏高原上，没有任何的污染，所以它是一种非常绿色的健康食品。每天吃这个的话，身体会非常好。
Okay. So the main message there was a sampa a day keeps the doctor away. 这个可以吃，好，
特别好吃的。
It has a very earthy, weedy taste. Yeah. So did that sampa bring you back to the monastery?
Yeah.
Is it true what they say about the room of a monk? Is it really just barren of all? I mean, what did it look like? Was it really just concrete, threadbare?
No. Actually, it was like well, it was kind of a really small village, like kind of school that has to be rebuilt. But they're still like they need funds. I mean,
Funding
like
to rebuild the school.
they are looking for that, and that's something that I want to go back to Qinghai for this purpose, like
To help generate the funds.
Exactly. And so the main monk, he has his own house, which is pretty, with a garden, and pretty, I will say, not luxurious, but
An endless stock of
exactly,
instant noodles.
Exactly. So no, and he has like a 2 storage, so we had to sleep on the second floor. But it was like no bed, you sleep like on the floor.
Okay.
But they provide you with really thick blankets.
Okay.
So it's
Sure, because it's cold.
yeah.
You need
But
something.
it's it was pretty nice. Yeah. The interior was
It was comfortable.
yeah, like Western style and
Really?
nothing. Yeah.
There was no television or any of those comforts.
I think so.
Really?
I think there was they have everything. I mean, I think they receive like donations and also money from like I've heard from Taiwanese people or Hong Kong businessmen. Like for example, some of them sent some solar panels to heat the places and to make it like more comfortable for them.
Okay.
So it's it's quite modern. We don't expect this kind
Not
of
at all. Just the word monk seems to trigger a concrete
Exactly.
wall, prayer beads, saffron robes. That's what comes in my head.
But they have like modern technologies over there.
And you were in the birthplace of Buddhism. I mean, if there are
Exactly.
authentic monks, this is where they would be. So
Exactly.
it's good to know they're living well these days.
No, well, I think it's still a hard life because they
course.
don't like that. I assume the children they don't go to the main city that often, and most of the time the parents don't have money, so that's why they send them to monk school.
Sort of a boarding
exactly,
monk
boarding school.
Sure.
But I think they're pretty happy. I mean, they're not in the street like stealing things or
Right.
so it's in a way it's also a good way to teach them and also to share the Tibetan culture, I
Sure,
think.
especially through children. I mean,
Yeah.
and did they behave like children? Did they play? Did you see them, or
yeah,
were they always
I think
very restrained?
so. Well, but with us, they were really shy because I
must have
think
been.
they're really not used to
Girls
see
and foreigners, yes.
And also, I bought a packet of chocolates.
Uh-huh.
So when I entered the kitchen, they were all like having lunch, and they were eating tsampa. And I had, okay, I'm gonna give you candies,
Chocolates,
and they
huh?
were like, they didn't want it. They were a little bit scared, but I was like, come on, it's chocolate.
It's
so.
chocolate.
So yeah, no, and they behaved like normal
Like
children.
kids.
Yeah, like kids. Yeah.
Interesting to know.
So yeah, so we stayed and we walk a little bit in the afternoon, like before the night comes, around the area, which was only like grasslands and nothing but silence and no cars and
It's like Beijing, right?
yeah, exactly.
No pollution.
No pollution. And we sat on the grass and we stayed for an hour, and it was amazing. It was, even maybe no birds, I don't remember, but no noise.
No noise, just silence. Throughout your trip, you just talked about how moved you were by the tradition and how intact it still was, but anything else that really surprised you throughout the course of your trip?
Oh, I had an idea about Tibetan people, but really the kindness of those people, smiling all the time, willing to help at any time, and they offer you to come to their home and stay, and they give you yak milk tea and also the butter, which is something that is expensive over there,
sure.
but they give you all they have, and this is any places, and it's not for money, it's not for doing business or trying to cheat on you or whatever.
Take advantage or
take advantage, or because
give
you're
it to you and then
foreigner.
make you pay for it later.
Exactly. No, it's really, I believe, from the heart, and I think this is what really enough words to describe, but
it was something that really moved you.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
So Alexia, you were traveling all alone in this region as a woman. Did that require any special precautions, or?
No, I think just the normal ones. I mean, like, well, I mean, China is a safe place.
Relatively safe, I would say.
I was like, told by people that, oh, you shouldn't go there alone as women because this place is quite dangerous. So I was really wondering if I had like to go, but I was like, come on, you're in China. Well, I mean, I've been to Xinjiang, and if you respect certain rules,
clothing wise, and
and like behave, like not be scared all the time, and like look around what is happening. No, just
stay cool.
Exactly, and then nothing happened to me. They were like, people are really willing to help, especially I think when they see a foreign girl alone. So if they come to you, it's not because they want to steal something or just because they want to help.
They're
so I think you
and they
should
wanna
like
help.
just take it easy and go for it. And even like at night in the bus, or of course you should like
Keep
look
your
after
things close. Sure.
and about the food, I mean, well, you will eat a lot of yak meat, and so if you're not used to,
what does that do to the system?
It depends. Well,
how much you eat, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, but so sometimes a little bit like disorders, but I mean it's the same in
anywhere
places
really, sure,
where you're not used to eat this kind of food, but don't drink maybe too much yak milk.
Yak milk.
Yeah, because it's quite heavy and
watch with the dairy then.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Journey to the West. Many thanks to Alexia for sharing her tales of adventures in monasteries and with police and in an area of around Tibet. So thank you for opening that up to us. Alexia has now entered into our competition to win a $1,000 travel voucher from Wild China, one of the best adventure travel companies on earth, as voted by National Geographic in 2009. So we encourage you to go online and vote for her. And if you have any other questions about travel to Western China, please send them in. We'll get them answered for you. Okay, thanks for watching.